Okay, today we're doing factoring using the ABC method. We are taking a polynomial that is 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. It's a trinomial with a leading coefficient that is not 1. When it's that case, then you have to do it using any other method. This is just one of the methods. The reason why they call it ABC method is because it has the form of a x squared plus bx plus c. And so what you do is you take the a and the the a and the c, and you multiply them together, and then you have the b. So in this example, you're going to take the 2 and the 5 because that's your leading coefficient a and your constant negative 5, and you're going to multiply them together. So it's a times c, which is negative 10. And then your b is going to be negative 9. So now the question is, what two numbers, when I multiply them together, and I'm going to use m and n, what two numbers, when I multiply them together, give me a negative 10, but when I add them, give me a negative 1. That looks like a 16, so I'll just put negative 10. Okay, so what two numbers are, negative 9, not negative 9. And what two numbers are those? And it doesn't matter which one you set to be m and which one you set to be n, but m is going to be negative 10 and a positive 1 for that. So when you multiply them together, it gives you a negative 10, but when you add them, it gives you a negative 9. So those are the two numbers that you use, and it doesn't matter which one's m and n, but then we're going to use those in a minute. So you take the original polynomial, the trinomial that you had, so it's 2x squared minus 9x minus 5, and then you're going to rewrite these, and then we're going to, having issues here, I'm going to do that in red. You're going to take this, and you're going to write the leading term first, so 2x squared, and then the negative 5. And then you're going to take the middle term, and that one is going to be split up into two parts. And that one is going to be the negative 10 and the 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here and a negative 10 here. Now, these two blue terms have to add up to negative 9x. So what this is missing is an x here and an x there. And then, of course, this is a positive 1, so we're going to be adding. That stays as a minus, and that is a minus. So that's where we use the m and n. So now we're done with this. We don't need that anymore. And so we continue with the factoring. So now we factor by grouping. Oops, I think I touched that. Now we're going to factor by grouping. And so we're going to take the parentheses and group the first two. And then that's a negative 10. So we are going to group the second two, but it was a minus. We cannot make it into multiplication. Something that has to take care of the minus is going to be the addition. So when we take the parentheses out, we'd have to come back to be this trinomial from the beginning. All right, so the next step is what two numbers what are two numbers that I could, or whatever it is that I could factor out of the first two terms, and that is an x, and what I'm left over with is going to be a 2x plus 1. And then I could factor out a negative 5 from there, and then I'm going to have a negative 2x plus 1. I'm sorry, not negative, positive. These two have to be exactly the same. So here, since they're sharing the same thing, I could factor out a 2x plus 1, and what's left over is an x and the minus 5. And that is your factored form. So the polynomial 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 can be factored into 2x plus 1 x minus 5. Notice how the non-factored one has only subtraction or addition in it, in this case just subtraction, but the factored one is two quantities being multiplied. So you know something's factored when the two quantities are being multiplied. Okay, thank you. Hopefully that helps. Repeat it as much as you need.